Hello, everyone. This is Ann Hayes. I'm a librarian at the CSI Library, and hi. Your professor asked me to make a little video to help you understand how to use library databases to support your research in your class. So that's what I'm going to do. Right now, what I'm really going to do is go to the databases section, and I'm going to choose a database for this class. I can do this a couple of ways. One is to specifically look up the actual database I want to use, and the other is to look up a database based on the subject. So if I do that, I'm clicking education, I'm going over here, and I have a few good options. Actually, this one and this one are both great options. So I'm just going to start with Eric EBSCO and go from there. And this is new. We are now using CUNY First login instead of SLAS, which I think is excellent. Now we've got just hopefully increasingly this one login for everything. So I'm logging in with my CUNY First login, click go, and this will get me into the database. Okay, so this is Eric. You'll see that it has some education specific functions down here. So I can drill down based on the education level, which might be really important to you. And I can also locate the intended audience of the articles that I'm looking for, right? So that's a kind of interesting little thing that you could add there if that's what you need. I'm actually gonna not add any limiters yet. What I'm going to do is just start with my topic, see what's in the database, and that way when I see what's there, I can kind of narrow down from there. So that's a strategy I'm gonna recommend. Yeah, and I'm also going to do a particular topic that your professor suggested you might be studying, but know that these are applicable research strategies to any topic that you're doing, okay? So I'm going to do COVID-19 instruction because here we are. I'm in my living room right now doing this class, so it feels important to me. So that's what I'm gonna look up. And you'll notice the database, once I start typing, it kind of like tries to guess what I'm thinking. And so, yeah, I'm just going to go with COVID-19 as an overall topic. I'm probably going to need to get more specific, but I actually just want to see what's here. So down the center these are my research results, and these are the articles. Right here in this little small spot is the total number of articles that came up. So based on your topic, you really might get like thousands or hundreds of thousands of articles. But obviously, COVID-19 is a pretty recent topic. We've been here for what feels like forever, but in academic time, it's kind of short, right? And we know how long it takes to write an academic article that's peer reviewed. It can really take a long time. So we have 2,400 results. And if I scroll down here, I can see that a lot of these are reports. So I think you can use reports, but I would just be aware that they're not peer-reviewed articles. They are, reports by usually an agency like, in this case, the Federal Student Loan Debt Relief Program, or sometimes it'll be, congressional research or the White House, something like that. So you can use them. Just know that they're not peer-reviewed. So if you need a certain number of peer-reviewed articles to think about that. Okay, going back up, I'm going to look at my tools over here. I can add a subject, or I can kind of look at what subjects are coming up based on my topic, which could be helpful. And I can also add a geography, although what I noticed is that sometimes, these numbers simply can't really be right. So basically, these are ones that are specifically like this particular geography is officially associated with this article, but it could still be about the US without being labeled that way. So I'm not gonna click geography. Oops. But I could get some ideas here. So one thing that I thought to add is, because a lot of these articles are coming up about like Turkey or other countries, that I could add the United States. And this is pretty useful. So when I start typing, it's saying the United States or America or USA or US. And that's really helpful. So what it's doing here is it's going to combine these terms connected with and right here, which means that the database is only going to show me articles that definitely have both of those terms, right? So I'm going to narrow my search. However, in that second line, where I've got words separated by or, what OR is doing is it's actually expanding my search in that section. So it's telling the database, look, for me, United States, well, for anyone, the United States, America, USA, and US are synonymous terms. So please find evidence of those, all of those terms in my results, right? So hopefully that makes sense, but I'm both narrowing and slightly expanding my search at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to click search, and I'm going to get fewer results for sure, 346. But now I can be reasonably sure that all of these articles are about the impacts of COVID-19 on the US. Yeah, great. And so if some of these look useful, I could just, grab one and not keep going. But I'm going to try and focus on what I would do if I wanted to find more or different results, right? So I would actually scroll down. It looks like the 16th article here seems pretty interesting to me. Yeah, and something like this seems interesting to me. So don't feel like you have to take, the first 5 hits. You can actually scroll down and see what's here. Yeah, so I noticed that I'm getting a lot of stuff about college students. I'm getting some things about high school youth and younger classes. So of course, I might need to add my, am I doing primary school? Am I doing secondary school? Like, what is the age group of the students? So I'm going to try to do this, and this really might narrow my search too much, but let's see what happens. So I'm going to do primary school. And let's just use primary, that works. Okay, so now I only have 17. So I kind of thought that might happen, but if, if you get like 5 good articles here, that's fine, this is a really new topic, so that actually could be okay. Yeah, I think this actually could be a great article for me. Yeah, this could be great as well. Okay, so I'm getting some stuff. All right, but what I would do if this was too few and these articles were not useful, and again, this is a transferable concept for all topics. If I find that happens, what I want to do is now figure out a way to expand my search. So I think that I can get rid of this and still be happy with my search. So I'm going to go here and add COVID-19 in primary and try that instead. Of course, I'm going to end up with some articles from other countries, but that might be okay. But it also might pull in some that, just weren't included in the original search, even though they're about America. Yeah. Okay, like for instance, this one. I didn't see that one last time. So that could be a useful strategy as well. Okay, so another thing I'm going to talk about is looking to the subject terms here for some ideas about other things that I can search. So I'm looking at things like distance education might work for me, or pandemics came up as a synonym. So I could also try those terms. I could say COVID-19 or pandemics. I could do this. Another thing that occurred to me is, what if what I'm really trying to get at is how does remote learning affect instruction, right? Because of course that's what we're really talking about, at least sometimes when we're talking about COVID-19 and education. So I could do something like remote learning and add that as a topic. And of course, it just occurred to me that perhaps remote learning could be the topic instead of COVID-19, not to get too crazy, but I'm just trying different things here. So yeah, I don't love these results, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to do a new search for remote learning. Yeah, during remote learning. And but this was written in March 2021. They're definitely talking about COVID. Yeah, here we go. And it looks like these are K through 12 and primary school education, so that could help me if that's my topic. And if I need to drill down more on that, of course, I can re-add it. So I could even add elementary school, I could add primary school, I could add them all this way, right? So I'm just kind of like, now I'm just like using these same strategies in all these different ways. And here's another thing. Yeah, so cool. So I've got these articles. And I wanted to just show you my notepad. So when I was preparing for this, I was doing exactly this. I was doing these kinds of searches and I started writing down which terms worked for me when. And I do this when I'm doing my own education. Like I try something, I see what happens, and I write down like, oh yeah, this keyword worked really well. This keyword really worked really well. This keyword combination worked really well. Oh, scratch that. I'm going to try this other one, right? And that's what I do. You kind of like see what comes up, and then you pivot, and then you come up with a new strategy. Or your first strategy works marvelously, and you grab 5 articles and you're happy. So it kind of just depends. Um, all right, moving into the next section, I'm just going to talk about how to actually read one of these articles. So let's say this one looks great for me. So I've got an abstract. This is a little description of what this article is about. I can look here and see if this is going to work for me in my research. I can go over here, which is where the full text tends to live. So I see that I've got a PDF here. That's great. Sometimes it'll give me a link that says find it at CUNY, which means it's going to send me to a different database where that article actually lives, and that should work. So click that. Yeah, and then over here, I can email it to myself so I can read it later. I could, yeah, really honestly, what I would do is just email it to myself. And then the next kind of groovy thing is you can grab an automatic citation for this article. Just remember that you have to check it and make sure that it's correct. So I'm going to use APA, and this is my citation. I can see just from looking at it, and this happens a lot, that in APA we want to capitalize just the first word here and not the other ones. And then after the colon, we want to capitalize this. So I would fix that, right? But you can edit these. For me, it's easier to edit them than it is to write them from scratch. So I would still use this and then I would edit them. Okay, and then this is a really long article, video. I don't like to make videos this long. I'm going to show you one more thing. One more thing, which is you can actually combine databases. So up here where it says ERIC and then choose databases, I can select and actually do a search in more than one at the same time. So I'm going to click, there we go. I'm going to click Education Source and ERIC and search them simultaneously. And this is great if I'm in the situation where I'm not getting enough articles. I can search 2 databases at the same time. So the only reason not to do this is that the subject terms are specific to the database. So if I'm actually using these particular subject terms, I might have to change that and just do keywords instead because, yeah, because they speak different languages. But yeah, this could increase my number of results. I could also just start over altogether, see what's here. Yeah, that'll be good. So we're doing COVID-19 in elementary school or primary school or la 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 la. And yeah, it looks like I've got a few more hits than the previous time. Okay, and then just in case you need to exclude those reports and only get scholarly or peer-reviewed articles, I'm going to click this, and that'll pull out all the reports. I'm realizing maybe I should have shown you this a little bit earlier in the video, but hopefully you've made it this far and you're still with me. As you know, as educators, the ideal video is supposed to be like 3 minutes long because our attention spans are so short these days. And I'm breaking that rule. I'm breaking that rule for you guys, but I know you can handle it. So, okay, great. So I just now am only seeing academic articles right here. So those are the ones that are peer reviewed. They've been reviewed by at least a few reviewers before they're published. And your professor can definitely talk about the meaning of peer review in greater depth, but yeah, so actually it's still including some reports. That's annoying. Anyway, yes, so that is how I use ERIC and at the same time Education Source. If you have any questions later, we're going to go back to the website here and you can just click name, email address, and your question in the chat. And you will actually be chatting with pretty much a CSI librarian, and if not a CSI librarian, then another CUNY librarian who will be very familiar with these tools and able to help you. All right, thanks so much, everyone.